So this is a very special review. We're taking a little bit of a break from our regular scheduled programming because we just got out of the Michael movie.
Movie surprised me because I only heard about it like 3 weeks ago.
When I heard about it, it's not too long. Like I swear, it's been like a year since it was announced or something.
I think in 2022 we talked about it a little bit.
So the first thing we saw, and it was worrying, was the Rotten Tomato score, the critical score for that, which was very low. It's like 40s or something. What do you know what it is now?
Well, it was 27 at first.
27. Really, that's
Picked
low.
up to 40. Now it's at 38.
So seeing that, it's like, oh, what is this pile of trash? But you need to remember that Michael Jackson is a very controversial figure, and that everybody has an opinion on him. And I guess critics, you'll find that this movie, it's like, yeah, you can find some flaws about it for sure, but then like I think it's overhated. I think the critical score is wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be 20%.
Do people still rely on Rotten Tomatoes? Isn't it? It's really old now.
That's the kind of thing where everybody's like, the critics, but we're always like, what are the critics saying over there?
This was weird because when the review was launched on Twitter, all the comments were against the critics. They're like, oh, the critics say this, but it's really like this. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. Mm-hmm. I don't just coming out of the movie, I don't understand the hate. If I'm just thinking in their head that they really wanted to see something, okay, that's not the movie they made. Like, what do you want to do? They don't have to touch on certain subjects, but what the movie that I saw was a well-made movie with a message that touched on some cool stuff. So good. See, it is a fun movie at a lot of times.
Yeah.
But it's also a dark movie at a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many hints to like darker moments in his life that will happen in the future. Yeah, I see what you mean by that.
They showed straight up abuse in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that happened all the way until he was an adult. Like, I feel like just before Thriller, it kind of stopped. And they didn't show it, but like you got certain scenes where like
you don't have to because they showed it once when he was a kid and then it's just implied. You know what I mean? You don't have to show each time because then it just kind of gets weird.
You could see how Joe was kind of instilled that mentality into Michael to be perfect, that he has to be perfect at everything.
Yeah.
And that really kind of messed him up later in his life.
Yeah, the movie showed Joe picking at his nose, and then when he got older, he changed it.
Even though it wasn't
the biggest nose out of all of them. And he calls Michael Big Nose.
But you know what's funny about that? I saw critics say that was a bad thing about the movie. They're like, oh yeah, he mentioned, he had a big nose. And so later you see MJ wanting to change his nose. It's like, oh, that's just too simple. I'm like, but that's what happened, though. Do you think it changed nose because of Jermaine? He didn't want to resemble him?
That's them looking at a complex situation and finding a simple answer. But there's a lot that you can pick at that. Like, it's his instilled for him to be perfect. It's the abuse from his father. It's him. There's also a thing in him that he hates his father, but he wants to impress him.
Yeah, like he wants to be good. But he can't be good if he's like hating his family.
Yes, but then he looks at himself and he sees this imperfection. So even though it's against what his dad would want, he finds that it's a more complex issue than just that answer.
Yeah.
Like I said, this movie had no pacing issues for me. I didn't really feel like there's a lot of movies when I watch it, I'm like, wow, that happened too fast. This flowed. Every scene flowed in the next one fine. There was a lot of fun scenes, and then there was a lot. Joe Jackson to me was like Scrooge McDuck. That's exactly how I looked at him. He's like, he even had the desk. It's fucking Scrooge McDuck with abusive powers.
That part Michael was like, he crashed to a fire, Joe, and the audience was like, oh, like they reacted.
Is that because there was a scene at the very beginning that I chuckled at where it was like, no, I'm a grown man now. I'm going to tell him to his face. And then the very next scene is like, I'm going to need you to do this for me. And then he was like talking to the two guys, and they're like,
pretty much the whole thing was just building up to him standing up to his dad.
And that's a fine character arc. Like, you need something in your film to like have a good end point, you know. It makes sense.
If you look at Michael's life, that's literally what it was like, I'm always I was shocked back in the day when you learned that Thriller never had a world tour like for himself. It was the Victory Tour with his brothers. Like, it's just weird. I'm like, you have the biggest selling album in the world. People are just there to see you, but your brothers are there. You know, and it's like, so that going on solo, the Bad Tour was like massive. And that makes sense that would be like the height of this film. It would that's like he grew up almost in a sense. He just stood on his own. and then the sequel would just go into like
Yeah,
everything.
Well, because he handled controversy, and then that kind of proves it was bad.
it really felt, and it comes across in the film, that Joe looks at them. You know what I mean? I own you. You do what I say. You make me money. You don't get a say. If you do, you get your ass beat. And if you do, I'm going to either use other tactics by guilt, manipulation. He was a really good villain, like in the movie. It's sad that actually happened, but it was a good villain role.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. He was a really good actor, honestly.
About the whole family thing over him like saying yes to everything, like being a yes man.
Oh yeah, because like a Joe at some point he does say something that's like he was right about. It was just like, paraphrasing. He said, "If you surround yourself with yes men, that's not what you want. That's not going to. You need someone like that to tell you no."
Joe did an interview a couple years ago. It was a bit he died, whatever, but like it was a couple years after Michael died. And they asked him like, would Michael still be alive if you were involved? And he's like, yeah. Just like, I'm like, oh, like I think it is true.
Maybe.
I think it is true,
like,
but
that sucks.
He would have been happy though.
He wouldn't. I don't even know if he was actually happy towards. Like, it was him and his kids.
He wouldn't have been happy either way.
Okay,
he just had issues. But the funny thing was his dad saying that. But Michael might have, like, he could have took it. This is hard to say, but he might have taken a completely different path of destruction if he stayed with his dad. You know what I mean? Like, it could have led to another way that he died.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because that's years and years of abuse, and that builds up, and then you crack. You know what I mean?
I heard some like reviews that were like, this movie's just like just constant music videos, and then it ends, and like they're like wondering why do people like this?
That wasn't true.
I've read that. Then I was like, okay, well, I'll just watch the movie.
Well, people don't realize how big those music videos are, and how they're more than his music videos.
That's the thing. It's like
there's so much to it.
They really had to pick and choose because there's so many hit songs he has. It's insane. You could probably make a top 100 songs. Like I'm like, but you have to choose like the top 10 or 50. Like so. I don't know, I think
cool if they showed Michael like on cover they actually show him taking a picture like this, the white suit.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
The one I wanted to see, and it's just because it was during the Thriller, I was hoping they'd show the werewolf look.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted to see it.
I know, that'd been cool.
I wanted this because they were setting it up with Vincent Price, or is that his voice? I wanted to see him like that, like getting him to voice it, because it seemed like they were setting that up with him watching his voice. I think the performance there.
Well,
they just cut
that
to
was
him
also
being,
Vincent Price in the movie.
Yeah, so they just cut to like he was already done in voice.
He's still alive.
Vincent Price, no.
No, he would be like 150 years old.
He died in the 80s or 90s, I'm pretty sure.
I knew he's pretty old, but
yeah. Another thing that I wish happened, like I understand you bring him in there and then maybe it feels like he's out of place because you're telling Michael's story. But I would like to see Eddie Van Halen rip it on Beat It for just a little bit as a fun little cameo. Just put him in there.
I love how the soul got really loud in the theater. Like they turned the volume up.
I know the solo was like really loud.
I almost like say something before. I was like, oh.
I know, but imagine him shredding it, because all you need is to see him in the studio shredding, and then have his hair down. You know what I mean?
You can show him from behind or from the side playing.
So as somebody who the f- are you talking about?
Eddie Van Halen?
Was
he plays a solo and Beat It.
Oh really? And Beat It?
You never knew that.
I don't know.
I feel we talked about.
Yeah,
I feel like we talked about forever. Like
guitar player.
All right.
I feel like I told you.
Yeah. Why didn't they show him? I guess they better pay.
But there was a mention of like Michael was like, "Oh, that's that Van Halen sounding whatever," or maybe Quincy said that. But it was
Quincy said Van Halen. He's said like Van Halen at some point.
He's like, that sounds rock and roll or something. Right?
Yeah, because like Michael
said that's rock and roll.
Appreciate rock and roll. Like he likes that. Like
yeah.
So it'd be nice to kind of show that he also appreciates like
that was
guitar.
So that's what I mean. You can criticize this movie based off of like moments it left out, but I don't know if you can really.
There's just so much to his life. Like you could have had a biopic out of like all the drama with like you mentioned his brother
Jermaine.
Yeah, there's that, but then like setting up the music videos, like this away from the Jackson 5. There's like other drama in his life, but like this biopic just covers the family stuff.
Because the thing is, with Off the Wall in this movie, you just kind of go off the wall. You go out to whatever. There's like all this success, but he wants to be bigger. The thing about Off the Wall, when that came at the Grammys, he won, but it was for best R&B artist, and that pissed him off. He was like, I don't want to be just an R&B artist.
So that's why I had rock and roll.
So that's why Thriller was like, we're doing everything, rock and roll. We're like, he wants to dominate.
Wasn't he
everything.
a pop artist?
Kind of.
See, that's the
later,
thing.
Later, he became that, I guess.
Michael was with the times. You know what I mean? He knew how to do that. So it's like during the 80s, he incorporated rock because that's what was in, you know? That was a big part of it. And then you could get different people. That's why it seems like nowadays there's pop artists that people who like rock and roll would never care about. But people who like rock like Michael Jackson.
It is weird, like, because like when he released or when Van Halen did like Jump or 1984 album, they did that, and like Van Halen were famous before. They weren't like worldwide famous until that album came out. But Michael was just like he knew something about that guitar player. It's like he's really good, and like so I'm like, and then later on with Slash as well. Like just after those big albums and all that, he was like, there's something about that guitar player. So he started collabing with Slash.
I want a Slash to be in part 2 if they have one.
Yeah, so he could be.
See, but
Maybe
that's
folks had the real Slash. I don't know if they got though.
That's what I mean. He knew when to jump at. Like he was smart. He was like. I think the movie didn't really portray that well. His intelligence. Yeah. The man was super smart, and like he would do a lot of stuff in the studio. You know what I mean? That was his thing.
I love that one scene where it actually spent a good couple minutes just like seeing him, like he'd be sleeping at night and he'd think of an idea. He'd run down to the studio and he's like writing this, and he's like, all you hear him is him, she's literally just beatboxing.
I never show him like practicing the dancers, like stopping them when they're dancing wrong. I never show him that.
I know. I just think I would have liked to see him do a little bit more producing in the studio. Yeah. Because they kind of just had it like Quincy did all that. Yeah, like I don't think he did all that.
They were setting up him like getting to know, setting up the Beat It song, but I would like to see him like in the studio, just kind of like say some lyrics, go like no, let's scratch that, do this instead. Yeah. And then that would have been cool. But they kind of cut to the music's already done and they're just gonna dance to it. Yeah, but speaking of dancing, what'd you think about Jafar? Is it?
Jafar, amazing.
Yeah, I thought really good. I thought.
I leaned over to Christian as soon as I saw him talking, and I was like, he nailed the voice. That was I was like, wow, that wasn't an imitation. That was his voice.
So I was like, I swear you said like Corn Festival or something to me. Like I can't. I don't. I'm face blindness. I don't know, but like you just leaned over and like Corn Festival.
Are you talking about
thinking, like what the
face fuck? Blindness? I leaned over like who the fuck are you?
That would be amazing.
Are you talking about the guy that's crazy terrified.
Hair? Like, who is this guy?
I lean over. You don't know me. Cornfest.
Oh, Don King.
You guys talking about
Don King?
You know what's funny? That guy, I know him from The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
There's a parody.
I know him from The Simpsons and from many things.
I was like, this is a Simpsons character.
Well, he did a lot of stuff
hair.
with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Vegeta hair.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
but
like,
okay, yeah.
It's really funny though because people who don't know him, he looks like he wouldn't exist in real life. You know what I mean? He looks like somebody made up for the movie and they just did something crazy.
So that guy with the mullet and all that, is he important? Because they were kind of like
that's John Branco, whatever. It's his lawyer, and like I guess
no. I mean the guy that's maybe it's his lawyer. Where he's at the table and he's like, "That's my guy." Over there.
Yeah. That was John Branco.
Is he like a?
That's his lawyer. I believe he still runs the estate to this day.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
This is what I have an issue with. And it was with the makeup. Some people, like Miles Teller, who played the lawyer, sometimes with Michael, sometimes with Joe, they look like wax statues. You know, when they have like, it just seemed like the prosthetics weren't too skin-like, and they almost looked like they were melting. Like, I'm like, their skin looked like a melting wax figure.
I might have got that impression from the lawyer a little bit. Like, there was something like, that's why he stood out to me. I was like, this guy's different from everybody else. Maybe he's a lizard guy but he stood out.
Yeah.
But I saw it with the others.
Jafar Jackson did great as Michael Jackson. You just think it's Michael Jackson as you're watching, like, once you get kind of used to it.
There was so many things, like, just like, especially when it was like from behind or like from the side, like certain little things when you turn his hair, like it was perfect. Like you watch old interviews with MJ, it's like it was perfect.
Well, I thought the Thriller look was perfect, like the zombie look. That was perfect.
Yeah, like I thought it was like all right. Like I mean, they can't get it 100%.
No, you're right.
Like,
That's when he looked the most like.
I thought maybe they used AI to use original ones. Oh, that's what I thought.
I thought he was like prime Michael Jackson at the very end when he walks on stage with the black coat.
Oh,
like that was just like
the bad
look. Well, that's what I liked is when he was actually doing the moves, like and he did all of he owned the whole stage, and it wasn't like this like the brothers in the back and they're doing this dance. It was just like he's Michael Jackson now on stage.
Yeah,
and
plus,
that was
plus he doesn't even walk like any time basically, not just during the one song. He does he goes in circles.
Yeah, he does everything because he has so many different moves. Like
I also like that it showed like we're under the same, they were stuck in the same cycle. He was really the only one who broke out. Like everybody else was stuck there. But his brothers weren't trying to hold him back.
Well,
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
but in the
it's
movie
true for
that
the
they
most
conveyed
part.
that.
Jermaine got very jealous. Like Jafar Jackson, his dad, Jermaine, he got very, very jealous about a lot of stuff. Didn't want to talk. He quit the band at one point for a bit. So they kind of mentioned that in the movie.
They did.
Where they kind of, but I'm glad that they took that road. That's what I mean. You can do so much things with the different. There's so much drama with that. That's why during like Motown 25, after he does before he does the moonwalk for the first time, he does. He says like, "Oh yeah, I'm here with my family, and including Jermaine. Like we're all happy." I know a lot of the media thought they hated each other, and a lot of it was Jermaine for sure. But
see, I can understand. I can understand because you're a part of this band.
Well, and Jermaine was the lead singer originally before they heard Michael sing.
Yeah, and I can understand. It's probably because now, especially even in your family with a father like Joe Jackson, you hear that how Michael's the best. You should probably be like him. It's not only jealousy, it's your father pitting you against each other. I also have to say, I don't know if Joe Jackson's eyes were like that, but looking into his eyes was pure evil in that movie.
Oh yeah, you should look at a picture.
Did you notice that? Like when he would look around and it's like his eyes were dull, you know what I mean? So when you look at them, you just see a soulless bastard.
Oh yeah, the funny thing is like Michael like loved him to death until he died. Like they asked him about him way later in life. He's like, "Oh no, like I love Joseph and blah 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 and whatever," But then there's some interviews where he's like crying and saying like how much but like I think that's just his. That's his mom. MJ's a lot like his mom. He's just so forgiving.
It's funny how even
too much.
when he was an adult, he's as close as mom. They like watch TV.
See,
yeah, they're always so close.
I think he just let it go. Like that stuff, he probably didn't forgive, but you can let stuff go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of stuff is unforgivable and that was controlling. And if his dad, if he could, he would have kept Michael on the leash for as long as he could to make him money. And Michael made him enough money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're set. But what do you need? What else do you need?
Yeah, that they did a good job with that awkward situation of wanting to break out, but also being stuck with Jackson 5 and obligations with your family.
You might know this, but I didn't really know the time frame. How long was he in the house?
Michael?
Because it seemed like he was in it till he was like 25.
Oh, like in Encino. So, yeah, he lived there up until where the movie ends, like 1987, I think. But
I thought they showed his own house.
No.
Because his dad, he was like, "What are you doing here?"
No, because he moved. That was probably just his bedroom. He walked in, but that wasn't his own house. When he moved from there, he moved to Neverland, which we never got.
Yeah, I guess it was after. It was neat seeing the whole Neverland build up. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was his favorite book, probably named Neverland.
This movie
I didn't like the monkey. I did not like the CGI monkey.
I was surprised to even have ever had a monkey named Bubbles. As soon as the monkey showed up, I was like, I can't wait for this monkey to be gone.
I love that part.
I would have liked if they
I
got
love Joel's
a real
reaction.
monkey.
I love Joel's reaction to Michael and the monkey's like
The monkey just didn't look real enough and seemed hokey.
Whenever I see a pet chimp, I'm just thinking, fuck, there's so many. We just had a movie where
there's
a crazy.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, but the chimp was a big part of his life.
There's so many horror stories with the chimp, but
I thought, that's.
Bubbles was his real child.
You know how I feel. I want the humans to win.
Yeah, you hate monkeys.
that was inspired by like Dragon Ball
You
Z.
do. You
Bubbles.
dislike
Christian-
monkeys.
Christian Dragon Ball Z Bubbles. I was inspired by.
Oh wait,
Jackson.
what character is Bubbles in?
Oh, he's King Kai's pet.
The actual monkey.
Yeah,
really?
he's inspired.
You guys
Yeah.
can make anything about Dragon Ball Z, you bastard.
It always ends up being there.
Like it's just I like
Right? What do you mean? I never questioned you.
It's cool the movie highlighted like Michael's room. Like that was just his room. He had a bunch of toys and like he was like a kid. And what the
Toys? What the toys?
Well, just like giraffes and
So
whatever.
was that actually
That
the
was
house?
an animal.
Was that actually his house? Because you said that they filmed.
well, I don't know if every room. I'm guessing so because
That'd be incredible. If that was actually Michael's room.
Yeah,
and
like they
kinda
own the family still lives there.
That'd be amazing.
And
Christian, put it up. Was it
dare you.
real? Let him know.
Yeah, because like even like Jafar Jackson, he lived there for a bit. Like,
Can we talk about Jafar? Come on. Why did we name him Jafar?
That must be off Aladdin.
It
right?
has to be.
Well, he was born. You know what? Maybe he was born in '96.
Wait, are you talking? Is
When
that
did
the-
Aladdin come out? 90? No.
Lion King came. No, Aladdin
Lion King came out in 94.
When did Aladdin come
Maybe
out?
96.
92, I think.
Aladdin
Aladdin
came
was
out-
before Lion King?
Yeah, I'm pretty
94.
sure.
I think it was 90.
I can't check my phone. Fuck.
Going back to the beginning, just from like the beginning part up until Michael being grown up, or whatever, or early teen years, or no, later teen years. I
They didn't
guess.
show much of 10 years.
This is the only issue I have with the movie, was that it kind of rushed through the beginning part, which retroactive, like watching it now or looking back at it now, it makes sense because it's Michael's story. I've watched like The American Dream. There's been other Michael just stories told, and it's always so heavily influenced by the Jackson 5. And I feel like this one was just more focused on Michael's experiences through that. So I think that's why for me, when they were rushing through things, kind of caught me off guard.
You also have to
Originally?
remember it's a movie.
Yeah.
Can't do everything. Like, there's so much to this story. It's an entire life.
My favorite part was the beginning up until the first album, Off the Wall. It's my favorite part of the movie. After there,
Well, I love the scene where Joe, like, he like is like working steel mills or whatever, comes home, and it's like winter, and then it's like, he walks up to the house. I'm pretty sure it has to be the real house, Gary, because the family owns that house still. So, walking up to the house and like puts his lunchbox down, or whatever. It was just like, that was like the life they had.
Yeah.
And they showed their bedrooms because they all shared a bedroom. They all shared they had like, I think there was 9 kids in total, and they all slept in bunk beds. Just fucked up.
That kid who played Little Michael had such a nice voice.
Yeah.
That kid was a good singer. Also, we did hear Jafar sing.
Yeah, there's some. I think "Don't Stop to Get Enough" a little bit there.
Well, it showed him singing, and it was funny. I heard him singing, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of off." But then I realized that his voice is kind of like an instrument. You know what I mean? It doesn't work unless it's all put together. So it's like I heard him singing, and then everything started building around it. And I was like, "Oh, that sounds just like the song."
Yeah, I think they mixed it a little bit. They used a lot of Michael's live vocals. I noticed a lot of the Bad tour, especially for Bad. That was all Michael's vocals from.
especially this is Thriller.
A lot of times, at Michael's shows, like he played it exactly like the album. Like Freddie Mercury in his biopic, he did a lot of changing the songs. Michael usually kept them the same, like exactly the same from the album, which makes sense. Honestly, I wish that would happen. It sucks when you go to a concert and then they play your favorite song a different way. Like I wanted to, like
It is
it's
funny, right?
It's
Yeah.
cool to hear, but I wanted to hear it the way that I like the song, not the. Now we're gonna play this one fully acoustic. I'm like, oh, fuck.
For Thriller, he does kind of a mix of the album version and then the music video. Oh no, the music video does end with the laugh, so never mind, it's the same.
I like how he phrased it as short film. When he said that, I was just like, why would you make movies? What? He's making
He-
movies? I didn't even
kept
realize he was
calling
talking
it
about
that.
music.
Didn't you want to be Spider-Man?
Yeah, like that's okay. So that's what I loved about the movie was, remember that scene where he's talking to those kids there in that store, and he's like, "Oh, we got the Atari, whatever." He was like, I feel like he was like us, where he followed all that, because I know that he played video games and shit later on, like even when he was an adult.
He might have been talking about zombies.
He brought his kids
You
to
know
go
what I
see
mean?
Spider-Man 2 and like everything. Like he was
You just
in.
compared us to Michael Jackson.
I just mean like he was like normal. You know how like I feel like now it's more accepted for like adults to play games or like whatever. He was doing it during a time where people were like, "What the was a grown man doing this?"
Well, it also, he was just at the store buying stuffed animals for himself. I wouldn't do that.
I also love how they show
It's just
people,
like us.
they show people fainting.
Just like us.
The thing
So-
is, I would buy stuffed animals. Like I would buy.
People buy
I
collectibles.
wouldn't.
Like it's, you know,
It
there's a lot
depends
of
on what it is.
I have
but-
one stuffed animal that my grandpa got me
Some.
when I was a kid. And I
The way I
still
said
have
it,
it.
I have some.
So this movie is called Michael. Do you think the sequel is called Jackson?
Yeah,
Is it
it
confirmed?
has to be.
How do you think they're going to make that part of his life
Or they call it Michael
have
Jackson.
a feel good message? Because his, you know, he always tried to spread joy to the world and stuff like that. So there's a lot of positive aspects to the other side of his life, but like there's so much controversy and like the whole like baby balcony incident, and it's like, oh, there's so much stuff there.
It's going to be a dark movie.
It's like, do I want to watch the next part of his life? Maybe, but
Like the balcony part, it really is like so blown out of proportion. Like I know you definitely don't do that, but like I could just see how he is. The world, his fans wanted to see his kid, so he just kind of wanted to show. But I
you
get,
fucked up. Sorry, that was a fuck up.
but like
That was so dangerous.
oh yeah, but like that's why to me I'm like he shouldn't have done it. And he even admitted he was like I shouldn't have done that. But it's
Yeah,
like
he made a mistake. It was a pretty big mistake.
yeah,
but he made a mistake. Nobody got hurt, but so many people make mistakes that aren't on camera.
But like everyone from that was like wacko jacko and crazy.
The media
shit.
just running with it,
and that's where I'm just like, okay, like it was a mistake, but like calm down.
It's funny that they kind of Michael says that in this movie where he's just like, would you watch Haley's comment if it came by every year? Like, no, you wouldn't. That's why I want to be out of the media and just release my music. And then like in the later half of his life, it has constant controversy, and he must have been through all of that.
Yeah, the whole they highlighted that part.
I think the first part of the movie was better than the second.
Yep.
The second had a lot more musical performance that was cool, but the first half was a lot more story driven.
I preferred the second. And the
yeah,
first.
I love the second half.
I love the first part more.
You guys didn't like all the story there?
I just thought it was rushed a bit.
The Jackson 5
I thought the second part was
wasn't
rushed.
that interesting. Like I liked it, but I was waiting for him to like get to the thriller moment of his life.
Yeah,
but it was so music video heavy.
It was, yeah,
a bit, but not entirely. Like I feel like it was like that up until Off the Wall, and then right after Off the Wall for the rest of it.
Yeah, that's when
there was a lot.
I think there was
of
like
good story
8
stuff.
music videos in the second half.
For
I
me,
think
that's
it's because
or 8 musical performances.
They
That's
had to
what went
re-edit it, right? Because they had a different ending and they had to change it, so they probably had to like
Yeah, I'm not
shift
sure.
a bunch of stuff down around.
went downhill after Off the Wall for me.
Not
in a bad
off the
way.
wall for me. Not like they didn't like the second half. It was fun for what it was. I just liked the story. It was a lot more story in the first half than the second half, and I liked learning about his life. But then it just felt like, okay, now we got to hit these beats because that's how it goes. People want to see this. People want to see this. People want to see this. But I liked learning about it.
It's like it has the construct of a movie, so they need Joe Jackson to be villain, but I'm sure Joe Jackson wasn't involved with all the music stuff later. So it's kind of like crunch it all together near the end, and then have Joe Jackson at the end, and so that he can like.
I want to
tell
know
him
if
off.
that's true. If his father was just off stage staring at him when he announced it, just
Yeah, I'm not sure about
His
that
mouth's like,
because that's
part.
so villainy.
But no, they were there though. Like that. If you actually watch it on YouTube, you see that whole thing live, and it is wild because like
It's the exact same
no one
camera
knew
angles.
the
It's like a movie.
And I remember when like everyone talked about it, it was like big news. Like what the he's done, farewell tour. He's going solo. So that really
His brothers are like,
Yeah, I know. You can see
What?
them in the background. The same reaction. They're like fake smiling, like looking at each other. Like it's really crazy.
Wait, I
Sorry?
thought they were just happy for him.
His mother was happy.
I know one of them was just kind of like, what? Oh, really?
I
It
know.
was Jimmy.
Yeah, probably.
I think they were happy, but they just I don't know. Like that's where they made their money. So I still remember when they announced this is it. I remember being on MSN, and
No, you
it
got to
was-
tell the people what that is. People in the States don't know what MSN is.
Really.
They had AOL.
Well, basically the same thing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was MSN Messenger, but you would always get this thing that came up, MSN Today, and it was like Michael Jackson announces farewell tour or comeback. Like this is it, and I was like, oh. So I watched the press conference, saw him say like, this is.
I
it.
heard about 2, but I don't know where I was.
And I was just like, oh my god, that's. And I was looking at where it was. It was in London and stuff. O2 Arena. I was like, well, obviously I can't go to that. And then little did I know, a couple of months later, he died.
And his death was okay. I feel like if he died, then they would show like just movie sense. If he passed, I bet they would show they would have to show the real footage because it's crazy to think all the people that were outside for him when he died.
Yeah, that was a really big deal back in when it happened in 2009.
Like the media really was after him at every corner.
It really got bad. Yeah, even after the whole Cord thing and all that, it was still really bad for him. And you can see from the critic score
Like
that it's still going on.
I guess more people, I don't know. It seems weird because now people see all this media and they can get influenced by different things. But back then you really had like a couple media sources. So I think there was an easier way to control the media in a sense.
I wonder how it would be now because there's so much I guess I don't want to say it, but fake news. There's so much of that and just like clickbait stuff. It would be so bad now compared to 2009 where it was kind of getting started.
That's what I mean. Like I think
Everybody's on their phones. Everybody's going to be like have an opinion about it.
Was there more fake news? Or was there just
now?
less news?
Yeah, like there's less because I was not checking the news, but now I'm checking Twitter. I'm learning about all kinds of. But back then I was very much out of that. I was just kind of doing my own thing.
I know, but I just feel like I remember my parents watching the news, and then it would be like whatever the news said was real.
Yeah, there was
I
a lot of
think
trust.
nowadays we are a lot more. there are people that can go. I feel like back then, if you saw the news, you believed it to be true. I feel like everybody believed the president back then.
It was very
no
different.
matter what.
Yeah,
he's like professional.
Different time.
There's conspiracy theories, but now it's very much like, who knows what's true? You gotta like. There's so much.
But I feel like back then, it felt like people were really against Michael. That's just what I got because all the news was against them. So then, like, people believe the news, right? But then when he died, everybody was there.
And like, I don't know if you remember the stuff you were told when you were younger about MJ.
Oh yeah, everything was there.
Like I remember it was just like, he wanted to be a girl. Oh, he wanted to be white. And like just all these crazy things. Like
yeah, that he bleached his skin to be white, and that he like the hanging the. I remember seeing that on the news. Him hanging the baby off the guardrail up there.
I remember watching like 13 Ghosts on 7, and I heard that he was a girl. And actually, like I know someone said that.
And then it's like it's the same thing with Britney Spears back then. Like her life was everywhere, and I can't imagine when you're going through a troubling time also having to be in the media. So you don't have anything secret. Like if you're going through, people know about it, and if you have a slip up, you're insane and you shouldn't be trusted, and you're off the rails, and you're just a big, a big like media sponge. Like everybody's just soaking up all your juices.
So I just hope this movie and the sequel really does just fix his image and legacy and just makes it he's innocent. And that's it, because so much was bullshit. And
that's tough. That's tough.
I from what I've been seeing, it's like more and more people are starting to really believe it now, because you're like seeing all this in the news about so many other people.
See,
and shit.
This is not the kind of biopic of this director writer to ever do like this is not telling like a 60 minutes story of this guy's life, the good and the bad. This is just like keeping the vibes chill and like spreading a message of positivity. So I think in the sequel you're going to get Michael's side of things and not going to be like the media's, you know,
which
so
I
it's
think
going to
is
be like that. But you got to choose a side.
This is my thing about it, is like there wasn't one thing of evidence found against him.
No.
If there was one thing, I'd be like, then there would be like, you know, but like, and they FBI raided his homes, did so much, like literally beat the shit out of him. So many things happened to him, and like they found nothing. They raided all like Neverland, everything, found nothing. Like it's all just been about money.
It is odd that every time somebody brought accusations against them, it was at a pivotal point.
Yeah, like there's been some just got announced the
now.
other day,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
just now because the movie.
It's
and crazy. I can understand if one of them was just not about the money, but there's always money involved, and they want more money. So it's just kind of
there's like people's stories changing and a lot of stuff. Like it, I don't know. It's just
I know someone will come out and say, yeah, he actually did this to me, and I'm like, who are you?
like Macaulay Culkin was just like, no, like Corey Feldman.
Oh, I know he's blind.
He's just like, no, he was normal. Like, trust me, I know the difference.
Didn't Corey Feldman just say he did?
I thought he turned against him.
I thought he did one. No, he's Charlie Sheen. He says Charlie Sheen touched him, but
I mean, that's a whole.
Oh yeah, wasn't there a documentary?
It's a whole nother thing.
Wasn't there a documentary that came out like 7 years ago?
Yeah, Leaving Neverland, and that
so that's what it
director
was.
has been speaking out lately. He's about this movie, and he said that Michael Jackson is worse than Jeffrey Epstein. That's how I know that documentary was made, because he hates this guy. Like he hates Michael. He just has that viewpoint, and everything's twisted.
I could see that. Yeah.
See, the thing that sucks. Sure, there's
true.
no way to know for sure.
Well, the way I see it is, if you look at the world, I mean, yeah, they got rid of that Simpsons episode, but besides that, people love Michael. Look how big this movie's doing. The world is starting to change. That narrative, that narrative is starting to like actually change, and I hope that they tell the story how it was told. Because if people like, oh, that never happened, I'm like, well, show the proof. He went to court.
See, that's what I'm about too.
Yeah.
Like a testimony isn't just doing it for me. Like I need something to give me facts. I need straight facts.
Yeah, there's got to be facts. Like you could have a court date for any kind of allegation, and it could tear down a celebrity's image easily. But like you have to remember, if there's no facts, and it was nothing. It was
because like so many people, like if you just believe anything based off accusations, innocent people will suffer, and that's not right. And I feel like that's it's tough because people are saying stuff and it could be true, but it could not be. And now that person's the victim, but we just believe these people outright, and then it could come out later, and then that person suffered for how long? You know what I mean? It's a rough space, but I do believe whatever is proven to be true, that's what you go as. And if there's not enough evidence to say for a fact or even half a fact,
Yeah, and there's not
just it can't.
and
I
there
can't. I
hasn't
can't
been
go with it.
one thing of evidence yet. Like there hasn't been a single
Yeah,
thing
evidence is a big thing because
yet. It's crazy.
if you consider like O.J. Simpson, there was so much evidence there, and like then an opinion was formed. But like with Michael Jackson's case, there was no evidence. It was just opinions
Like if
everywhere.
you literally
just
look
kind
at
of,
that trial and you follow it, they say like that family, the mom or the parents were like really mean to the kid, and it was almost telling the kid what to say and certain things, and it was pretty obvious if you were in the courtroom, like, hey, what the fuck's going on here? I think it's just a money thing, and based off of who he was, we saw it in the movie, and we followed him his whole life. Like it was, he was too innocent. I just feel like he just wasn't tough enough to fight back really. So
yeah, it's true. Yeah, you can get that impression for sure. Yeah. So what would you rate the movie then? Like, because critics gave it like a 20, and they're going up a little bit.
It's like a
Audience
7.8.
is 97. I enjoyed this a lot.
I give it 8 out of 10. That's how I'd give it.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10 too, because I really maybe
I
I
really
just
like-
enjoyed the music.
I really
but
like the
in the
first
end, I had a
half
good
of it.
time.
So that's why I gave it, because the first half.
Yeah,
was
that's what I mean. 7.8 is a good rating. See, that would be a positive on Rotten Tomato. I would be a part of the positive group.
Yep. You
Yeah.
increase the
I'd
little-
go with 9.5
yeah.
because I love Michael Jackson, so I would go
I'm biased
to me,
then. Biased.
Yeah, to me, it's probably one of the. I don't want to say it's one of the best biopics of all time yet, because I need to see the sequel. I think there's a part, it'll be chapters, or it's a full chapter or whatever, or it's a full story. But it's really up there. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's just that beginning part. I was like, oh,
so amazing. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that it's true. It's not the full story, and that does suck. I do like when people get into it, but I don't think that means the movie's bad. I think it's
Yeah.
a well-made movie.
It's like
but I am
see-
missing something.
See, it had good pacing, and it was still over 2 hours. So
And I'm not talking about just then, like later. I'm not talking about just there later. There was stuff back then that was going on too that they could have touched on. And I just
it's like Lord of the Rings. There's one movie. It's like
Rule them all.
You know what I mean? It's like you have to see the whole trilogy to be like, oh, I feel like that's what this is going to be. Not a trilogy though, but
Yeah. I do wonder how they're going to do the sequel. When do you think it will come out? In like 2 years?
I think
no
2 to 3 years for sure.
three and a half.
It'll come out sooner, definitely.
They have to do it because they don't want Jafar to age too much.
Mhm.
What a performance!
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
many good performances in this movie. There was.
yeah,
Perfect as Michael Jackson. I really like or Joseph Jackson or whatever. Really good actor. Not
It's
as
Joseph.
Is that what they call him? He's like Joseph. Is
Yeah,
his dad?
Joseph. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Joe.
That's what you mean, Joe Jackson.
Oh yeah. They call him
I think
Joseph.
his dad
in
just
there.
called him. I think Michael just called him Joseph.
No, they all did. They all, like all of his kids had to call him Joseph.
Oh, see
Yeah,
me,
that's weird.
I just remember it was Joe Jackson.
But I hate that. Whenever someone mentions Joe Jackson, it brings me back to a memory with my uncle Mikey, where he's like, "Play some Joe Jackson." I'm like, "Joe Jackson," but I wasn't thinking like that's the song.
Mm.
And
Oh, yeah.
he embarrassed
Okay.
me.
It's funny that Don King was in there. Like he was really just in there to be in there. Like he was just in like a 5-minute scene. That's why it bugs me that we had Don King, but we couldn't fucking chuck in Eddie.
Do you think Pepsi sponsored this?
No.
I can't.
No,
they mentioned Pepsi, so can you do that without
yes,
a
you can.
sponsorship?
I looked it up. You
Yeah?
can have anything you want in a movie,
Okay.
but most people won't because pay me. Pay me.
I
Pay
see.
me.
I see.
So that's the thing. Everything's kind of like free use, but most people are holding out for a paycheck. So they could use Pepsi. They could say Pepsi. I don't remember seeing a Pepsi symbol. Was there?
No,
I never saw any.
So, but yeah, that was a big part. That was a big part. I didn't know it was like that crazy.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you watch the video; it's pretty fucked up.
Well, I've seen the video, but I didn't think I like you see somebody's hair burning, but I didn't know like it was like nerve damage and everything. I just thought his hair set on fire, which I've seen people's hair set on fire. I've never seen it get that bad.
In real life, later on, he was almost practically bald. I think he just had peach fuzz.
Mhm.
That was it.
I think there was something that I didn't like, and it was the doctor who was talking to Joe Joe Jackson, the dad. And he was like, when can he perform? And he's like, well, your son almost died. I'm like, well, maybe not. He's like, it could have gone in his clothes and into his eyes. And I'm like, you could say that about any injury. Like, I get stabbed in the arm. It could have been in the heart. I'm like, okay. This is a little bit of dramatices for the sake of it.
Yeah, I noticed that. I think that the real doctor would just kind of say like, oh, maybe in a couple months.
Yeah, like bedside manner.
But because it's a movie, you kind of dramatize it and be like, your son just died. How dare you?
Yeah. I know. I thought
his shoes still got ruined too.
Yeah, I just thought it was really funny. Like as a movie, not as the hair burning.
I'm sure there was some subtlety to Joe where he wasn't always just like you said, Scrooge McDuck. But like whatever.
A lot of stuff you see, he's either like that or he's just chill sitting there, like kind of a little smile, but he's just in the back, like quiet.
When you see that, it always looks like he's plotting something.
Yeah, you never know what he's thinking. What he's going to say next will be always like unexpected because he's always like oddly. That's why the performance is so good.
Also, they mentioned in the movie too that because they were Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever wrote a lot of that. Michael and
were they?
Yeah, but he stopped it in 1993 because he wanted to celebrate Christmas. So he said he felt so guilty, he started crying afterwards. But it was like his mom was really, really big into it and all that. So he just kind of did what his mom
One time,
said,
Jehovah's Witnesses came to my place and they dropped the book off, and there was robots killing people in the book. And I was like, "What do these people believe?" Like, what the fuck? I was like, "Do they believe in like Terminator? Like, is that what Jehovah's Witnesses is? They believe that one day the machines will rise."
I don't even know what that is. That's weird to me.
Jehovah's Witnesses, just Cloud and Sephiroth.
I guess we have been going for almost an hour now. We gave our ratings. Would you recommend people go see Michael?
Everybody, thumbs up and say it. Go see Michael.
I don't know why. Why did we all do it?
Because I asked you.
That's just thumbs up.
I know. I thought it would be funny. You could put us all on the screen like the Power Rangers. Like, go see Michael. And then we all transform into one big human.
Well, one final thing I thought was so cool. You guys probably don't know, or you might know. In the very beginning, the opening credits and all that, with all like the companies and stuff, they had Optimum Productions or whatever it was called, Optimal. Anyways, where Michael walks, and you just see it like that's actually Michael Jackson walking, and he spins, and it's like shh. Like that's on like if you watch the Moonwalker movie, so many of Michael's just movies and stuff from back in the day. So that was really cool.
I could tell it was from back in the day. It had a little bit of stutter to it.
Yeah,
you could tell. Also, sorry, cool. Another thing. The performances were 1-to-1. Amazing. Like I couldn't, okay, everybody knows that first moonwalk video.
Yeah.
He was there.
Legendary.
Like that was that. That was crazy.
That was the first time I really saw Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I remember you showed me the music videos, and that's kind of where I like put the name to a person, and it was like the moonwalk's crazy.
Like the Thriller, like a music video, I get, like, that's a stage production, easy to do, but the moonwalk thing was a legit thing, and it was weird to see it like recreated 1-to-1. I was like, what the fuck? And then the dance, it was like legit. Okay, I will say Jafar's moves aren't as tight. You can tell a little bit that they're not. When he does a move, it's very close to what Michael does, but there's a little bit of smoothness that Michael has that Jafar doesn't. But it's as close as I think we'll ever get to a performance that's that good. But nobody's Michael Jackson, and that's the thing we kind of realize in the movie. He's one of a kind.
Jafar Jackson is playing Michael Jackson. This is something for the fans and how they view Michael Jackson. Like this is not for like the media or CNN or whatever.
Yeah, this is for the fans.
It's for the fans. Like it's clear in the casting.
And who would have thought that one day another member of the Jackson family would be playing Michael in a movie?
Yeah, because I heard Jafar talking about the last time he saw Michael. He was like, we saw Uncle Michael. We had family day. Everyone was over. And he was getting ready for This Is It. And I think it was in May or something. And they were like, we're going to see you in July because they were all going to fly there for rehearsals and watch you and all that. So they're all excited. And Michael was just like typical uncle asking like, what are you doing at this? And asking a bunch of questions, whatever. And
he's just a classic guy asking kids stuff. You know what? I feel it now. I see kids, just kids. Like I see like my little brother and sister, and I'll ask them like, "How was school?" "Oh, it was good." "What'd you do?" "Nothing." I'm like, it's a never-ending cycle.
I know.
Yeah, there's always that pause. "How'd you do?" And you're like,
It's like nothing. I'm like, come on. I want to know now. I did this to my parents and now it's getting done to me.
Details.
Anyways, everybody come on, like the Power Rangers.
No, I was thinking about what didn't they yell at the very end of the movie like on 3, 3, 2, 1, Jackson or something? What'd they say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Leah just stole it.
They did some kind of thing at the end.
Yeah,
there,
no, yeah. Somebody said
Why
that.
would they see Michael?
What did they say?
It was just like 1, 2, 3.
It was right before they ran out
Jackson.
there. It was like on 3, 3, 2, 1. Or boy, it's
Maybe they said Jackson
confused
5
the hell with
times.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't even know. I'm just chucking, seeing if it sticks. Like Michael. No, wait. Fuck. Michael. Jackson. No, they never said it 5 times. That'd be wild.
Yeah, I don't
It would
know.
make sense. That's a good chant. They should have done it. But Joe wouldn't allow.
Also, my Star Trek thing where I shook the camera.
You shit.
I was like, whoa. It worked really well. I could see why they did it in TNG. Anyways, thank you for watching and listening.
Hey, you got a long one this episode. Oh God, like the bathroom. We'll just leave that one. We'll just leave that one with you guys. Anyways, thank you so much for sticking around. We enjoyed your company, and you should enjoy ours. So have a good night.